go ahead and get it started. I'm going to use the same brush that came with this palette. So I'm going to take the more of the fluffier end of the brush, and I'm going to go ahead and dip into this color right up here. Tap off the brush. Go ahead and go into my crease line, starting at the bottom, working my way up. Now always remember, there's really no rules in makeup. There's not. Makeup is whatever you want it to be. And if you want to start from the top, work your way down, or start on your eyelid, work your way up. It's whatever's most comfortable for you. That's really all it is. And for me, I just, you know, if it's just an everyday, a lot of times, you know, I just want just very simple, just minimal colors on my eyes. I don't need, you know, a whole, like, you know, 4 or 5 different colors. And, you know, you always have to remember here on YouTube, watching YouTube, it is very helpful. But in the same time, YouTube can be very, very, it can be very scary and very intimidating, you know, watching a lot of these gals on here, you know, like the Jaclyn Hill, who, I mean, she does some outrageous, beautiful looks. You know, but also keep in mind that, you know, we are aging women. So, you know, while a lot of, you know, I mean, for myself, I do watch a lot of the younger gals, but there's no way that I could wear a lot of the, you know, a lot of the looks that they do. I think it would just look really hideous on me. I think what I try to do is try to take some of those colors that they use and perhaps work them a little bit differently to make them work for me, you know. Alright, so there is a little bit of my transition shade that I want to use. Now if I want to go ahead and deepen that up just a little bit, I would probably go ahead and slip into this color right over here. And I've wiped off this brush down here. I've got a towel down here sitting that I just kind of wiped off the brush. So let me tap that off a little bit. And this just kind of deepen up this crease just a little bit. And this just kind of gives just a little bit of dimension. Now for me, I do have hooded eyes, so a lot of that color gets lost whenever I open up my eye. If you can see that, it just gets lost in there. So a lot of times what I have to do is bring that deeper shade up just a hair, and a lot of times I'll just kind of relax my eye and just look straight into the mirror and just see where that shadow is going to show if you're looking straight at me. So there it is. And go ahead and go on this side. Same thing. And a lot of times I have a big huge mirror over here. The mirror that I use is called a Zadro, Z-A-D-R-O. I got mine from Bed Bath & Beyond. Now I have to tell you, this mirror, you kind of have to have a good sense of humor. I mean, you have to have a sense of humor. And I'll tell you why. And I'll just show you my mirror here real quick. This thing is humongous. I mean, look how big this mirror is. I don't know if you're going to be able to see all of it here. But this is my mirror, all right? This thing is so big, and it is very heavy. But the magnification on this particular mirror is 15 times. So I said you've got to have a sense of humor sometimes. You know, because when I first got it, this mirror, and I was looking in, I was like, oh, mercy me. You know, I mean, it shows everything, every single little flaw, dent, ding. Yeah, it just shows everything. But for me, I just really love this mirror. All right, so now I have got on a transition shade, and then I deepened up that crease just a little bit. So what I'm going to do is just kind of go back through, and I wiped off my brush again. Just kind of soften any edges out. And wiping off that brush again. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and go up to my brow bone area, and so I'm going to go ahead, and for me, let's see here, yeah, that is, okay, so for me, I'm going to take the other side of that brush, which is more like a thin, flat shader brush, that's what I want to call it, and I'm going to dip right here into this color because it is a little bit more lighter than the other two colors that I worked with. So I'm going to go ahead and just pop that up here on my brow bone, and it just kind of gives just a little bit, you know, where it kind of just gives a little bit more of a pop to your eyes, I guess. a little bit more. This is just such a fabulous palette. I have been loving this palette. It is so easy to work with. There is not one single color in here that I could not wear. Not one single color. And I think coming off on the camera, like these two colors right here, they actually do look very similar, but one of them is a little bit more of a shimmer color. But every single one of these, I mean, this is just a doable every day, every single day palette. I love this. I'm just loving this. And this can just take you into the evening, you know, if you want to do a little smokier eye with a couple of these little dark shades right in here. Those are beautiful. For a fun eye, you know, a really pretty like a sweet pink eye. This shade right here is really pretty. So I have been loving this palette. And there is just endless, I mean endless looks that you can get from this palette. Okay, let's move on here. All right, so I get my brow bone up here done a little bit more. All right, now for me, I always do like to have just a little bit of a shimmer on my eyelid. So I'm going to go ahead and take the same flat shader brush, little flat side here, and I'm going to go into this shade right here because it's really, really pretty. I'm just going to sweep that over my eyelid. A lot of times I will use the MAC Fix Plus. Well, I always use MAC Fix Plus if I'm going to do something like this. As you can see, I did not use any MAC Fix Plus. And these shadows just really, I mean, they lay down just so beautifully, so beautifully. Go ahead and put a little bit more over here on this side. Such pretty colors. All right, now if I want to go ahead and deepen up that crease a little bit, I'm going to go ahead, normally I would go ahead and grab a smaller fluffy brush, but I'm going to go ahead and just stick with this brush because I do want to show you that this brush you can use in this whole palette. So what I want to do is I want to go ahead and just deepen up the outside of that crease. Now I've, you know, really, what I do is I take my little towel here and I just kind of go back and forth, just getting any type of excess eyeshadow off of it so I can go into a different color. So the color I think I want to use just to kind of deepen up that outside, I want to use this pretty color right here. Now, you know, you could go ahead and just stop right here and maybe do like a little eyeliner or whatever, but this is just how I like to do mine. So I'm going to go ahead and just take just the tip of that brush and just work it on the outside. It's kind of like you're doing like a sideways V, basically. That's what I'm going to say. It's like a sideways V right there. And remembering, you know, that I have a hooded eye, so I want to be able to see that whenever I open up my eyes. So that's what I do. I just kind of look directly into the camera and into the mirror here, and with my eye open. And then I can tell where that color, how much more color, or how higher up I need to bring that color. And this side over here is just a sideways V. And these shadows, I mean, they're just, I'm just not being able to, I mean, I just cannot express to you how much I really am loving this palette. I mean, I really am. There is, for me, whenever I buy eyeshadow palettes, I want to be able to, you know, really use those palettes. And a lot of times, you know, yes, there are palettes where, okay, there are a lot of times when palettes, you know, that we get, maybe there's like 4 or 5 colors, you know, that you just, it's not doable. They're just not doable wearable colors. And I just feel like that's just, I've wasted so much out of that palette. And so, but with this one, I mean, I'm going to be grabbing for this a whole lot. All right, I got to speed it up here because I'm almost at 13 minutes here on my camera. And it's going to shut down on me. All right, so I have deepened up that outer crease right there. Now I want to go ahead and put just a little something down here on the bottom lash line. So I'm going to go back into this color here and a little bit into this one and shake it off. Same brush, the fluffy side this time. I'm just going to go ahead and just barely kind of rub this brush all down that bottom lash line. And I always start just with a little bit first, and then if I need, go back in and grab just a little bit more. These shadows are so very forgiving. They can be very light, you know, a light wash of a color, or you can, you know, definitely deepen them up, as you can see. I mean, down here on this eye, right there. So that's what I'm trying to do, is just kind of deepen up just a little bit of something underneath that bottom lash line. Go back into that one a little bit more. And still, I'm using the same brush, which is really nice. All right, so let me look at this. All right, so as you can see, I mean, you know, I think that just for a very quick look, a doable look that I can be happy with walking out to the grocery store or to go pick up my child from school or running errands or even going to the office. I mean, this I'm perfectly happy with this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and finish my mascara and do my hair, and then I'm going to come back and we're going to talk just a little bit more about this palette. I want to go ahead and talk with you now about the palette. It is by Doll 10, and this is called the Master Palette. This is what the palette looks like, and it is made out of that heavy-duty cardboard material. And I just love this. It's not real thick, it's not real thin. I think that it is just a really nice, you know, travel-friendly palette, so I really love this palette. On the back of the palette is all of your shade names, if that's really important to you. Now, when you open up the palette, you do get a very nice mirror. I love the size of this mirror. Yes, mine is a little dirty because I've been playing in this palette now for almost a week because I absolutely love this one. Now, let me tell you one more thing. With this, with the mirror, this does lay completely back. So it is completely flat back there behind the palette. For me, it's not, I mean, I really never use the mirrors that are in the palettes because, I mean, I can't really, you know, see. I need a little bit more of a higher magnification to see what I'm doing. But with this, I think it's really great because, you know, you can either hold it in your hand this way or set it up, you know, and maybe prop something up behind it if you're wanting to do your eye look. Now, in this palette, you're going to see that you do get enough shades over here on this side if you want to go ahead and set your eye primer. You also get beautiful shades where you can do your transition, deepen up that transition shade, also do, you know, like a deeper shade if you want to go ahead and do your outside V areas like the ones that I used. Down here you get some beautiful, like you can do a really pretty smoky eye right here. Up in here there's another color. There's several shades in here that you can do a beautiful smoky eye. Now in here I really do love the way that they have balanced out this palette where you're getting a lot of matte shades along with several of the satin shades as well. So I think that that is just really, really important because how many times do you grab a palette and there's either, you know, not enough, you know, where you can go ahead and set your eye primer, or, you know, you have to dip into another palette to do that, or, you know, the transition shades are just not that phenomenal where, look in this, I mean, there's several transitions. There's I love that one as a transition shade. This one would be a beautiful transition shade. I mean, and then to go ahead and deepen up that crease eye, that crease line, this would be really pretty. This one is beautiful. I mean, so many of these colors just work absolutely fabulous. Your brow bone shades, you know, there's several here for your brow bone shades. There's also, you know, the shades where if you wanted to just get a little bit of a shimmery pop on your eyelid without, you know, too much shimmer. You know, beautiful shades here. This is a beautiful one here. There's this one. This is also, let's see here, it's kind of hard for me to see this up close. There's just so many. I love the balance of this palette. Absolutely love this. And looking at this, I mean, look how many different eye looks that you can get in this one palette. Beautiful eye looks. This palette is going to be beautiful whether you have brown eyes, green eyes, hazel eyes, blue eyes. I mean, just the perfect palette. If I just kind of show them to you there on my fingers. So there's that row right there, that first row. We'll go ahead and do this second row here. Maybe I'll just swatch them like this. There's that second row. So see, I mean, you're still getting beautiful light shades with a little bit of a satin. Some of them have a satin in there. Most of them are matte. Let's go ahead and swatch this one here. And there those are. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? Ooh, that is so pretty. Do this row. And here those are. Very pretty. Let's go ahead and do this row. And here's those colors. So pretty. I mean, there's just beautiful shades in here. In the last row. And here those are. Beautiful. Now what I did on the back of my hand, I swatched some of those deeper shades so that you could be able to see them just a little bit better. But beautiful colors. Beautiful colors. I hopped over on QVC and the palette is $43.96. So it is not a bad price point. I really don't think it is, especially if you go through QVC. A lot of times they do that easy pay. Sometimes you'll do like 4 easy pays or 6 easy pays. So overall, I think this is a fabulous palette. And don't forget, you do get a really nice brush. That is what that brush looks like. It is very nice. You get the fluffy end, really nice fluffy end brush, and then it's a little bit more of a thicker packed with a a flat side for your for a shader brush. So overall, I am super happy that I picked up this beautiful eyeshadow palette. Alright ladies, that is all that I have got for this video. If you have any questions or comments, list that information down there below for me. Also, if you'd like for me to do another video using, this eyeshadow palette, perhaps, showing different eye looks, like several different eye looks in one video, I will be certainly happy to do that for you. Just let me know down there in that comment section. I appreciate each and every one of you so very much. And as always, I wish you all a safe and wonderful day. Bye.